I'm going to try this again. I'm sorry, my allergies are just really kicking my ass. I'm trying to get through this video. I got several minutes into the last one and decided it was too much and started over. So hopefully it's bearable. So today I spent a lot of time at work listening to YouTube videos. Obviously I'm not watching them, but I do enjoy listening to them while I'm working. And I listened to a bunch of retirement ones. People my age, maybe a little older, a little younger, talking about how they could retire, how much they needed, the things you have to think about. And one guy that I follow, I think his name is Ronnie Christensen. He's got a good channel. He's a little bit older than me. I think he's 68. But really good advice, really good solid advice. If you're not, a bajillionaire and you just don't have millions of dollars to retire on, which I don't. I mean, I've been saving for 35 years. I wish I'd have started a lot sooner. Actually, it's not even that long. I started at 34, so it's 28 years. If it was 35 years, I'd be retired. So anybody that's watching this video, if you're younger, if you're 18, start. If you're 20, if you're 25, if you're 30. I had a guy ask me many years ago, he was in his mid 50s and I was like 30. And he's like, it's too late for me. And even then I had done a fair bit of research on like, save what you can. You're 55, work till you're 70. Maybe you have 80, 90 grand put aside. A little bit more you can take out every month. Anyway, it's not the point of the video. One of the things a lot of these people bring up is your health, because healthcare costs can be they're a huge part of older age. And I was watching a mini series. I was living in Norway at the time, 1984, called The Thornbirds. You might be familiar with it. Richard Chamberlain was the priest in it, and Rachel Ward was the main woman in it. Oh, did I have a crush on Rachel Ward back in the day? But there was an older lady in the show. I think the actress's name is Barbara Stanwyck or something close to that. And she was quite old in the series, and she was lusting after Richard Chamberlain. And she went on a bit of a rant about how it's not fair. My mind is still in the same place as when I was 30. I still desire the same things. I still want the same things. And my body won't let me do it. And I'm starting to realize this because I've had several injuries in the last couple of years, that just didn't happen to me 20 years ago. Last fall, now this was just a stupid accident. We were hanging out by a fire, everybody was drinking. I went to the river and I didn't want to be too close to the fire, stepped too close to the river, and there was kind of a narrow opening about that wide. And I slipped in. And the river wasn't real deep or real far down, but it was good 4 feet down. And it was too narrow for both my legs to fit the way I was standing. And so my right leg went up in the air. And it was dark, but I remember looking at my leg and thinking, that's not good. And it was just stupid. But, having had some fun juice, I didn't really feel anything. I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom and I couldn't walk. My ribs hurt badly. I had cracked my ribs. I had torn some tendons in my knee. It was bad. I was in really bad shape. And the next day everybody went on a ride. I couldn't even go on the ride because I couldn't sit in an ATV. The bumps would just kill me. And I had to call the guy I was working for, who's the same guy I'm working for right now, actually, and say, I'm really sorry. I don't know how long it's going to be, but at least a week, maybe 2 or 3. And I think it ended up being closer to 3 weeks before I could climb a ladder at all. But the point was, that kind of thing I would have recovered from in a few days when I was 40. When I was 30, a couple days. I mean, even at 50, I am noticing such a difference. I feel like I'm in fairly decent shape. I'm a contractor. I work 70 hours a week. It's physical, hard labor. I mean, I would love to lose some more weight, but I'm pretty active, and I've had a couple of things happen. Well, if you follow my channel, you know that 3-4 months ago, it was February 7th, I believe, I did something really bad to my back, and it turned out I had 5 herniated discs, and I was out for 7 weeks. I have had herniated discs in the past, never 5. It's always 1, maybe 2. It's just, I don't know if it's a genetic thing because my mom has dealt with this her whole life, but it's usually a few days and I recover. It's been several years since it's happened. So I actually stayed in my hotel for 5 days. I was paying like $150 a night to be there. And every day I was like, tomorrow I'll be able to go to work. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't lift the storage door to get into my equipment. And finally my son, who works for an airline, said, Dad, I'm gonna fly you home. It's basically free. And I still resisted, but I ended up doing it, which I'm really glad I did. And the hotel worked with me because obviously I couldn't sit here for 7 weeks and do nothing. But the point again is, it took so much longer to recover. And I feel, like I'm not some super athlete, but like I said, I'm a contractor. I work hard. It's very physical labor. I felt like I could overcome these kinds of things, but time doesn't give a crap. It just doesn't. It's like, no, you're not 42, you're 62. And even in my head, as I say that, it just is surreal. It doesn't compute in my head. When I was 35 or 40, a 62-year-old was an old man. And I don't feel like an old man. I feel I'm very active. When I'm not working, I golf, I go riding, we camp, we hike, we do lots of stuff. So it's really hard to get this to mesh up with this in the current age I'm at the current age I'm at. And I don't really know how you do that, except you just got to tell yourself constantly, you are not a 35-year-old guy anymore. Anybody who's ever been a contractor for decades can tell you your body just starts breaking down. And that's another thing that this guy I listened to today talked about, and it really got me thinking. It's like, don't beat your body up so bad that when you do retire, you can't do anything. And I want to, I'm planning on retiring here in a couple of years. I will keep doing some side gigs and stuff. I'm not the kind of guy that could just sit around. But I'm going to really enjoy relaxing more time off, get off the freaking road. I'm on the road 200 plus days a year. Starting to do more work in Utah, side hustles, all that kind of stuff. I'll be doing something, but I'm going to enjoy a lot more time sitting in my backyard, drinking coffee with my wife, golfing with my boys, just camping, chilling. I'm so excited, and I don't want my body to be broken when that time comes. By the way, these are Monkey Sober t-shirts. If you are interested in them, they're pretty fun shirts. They're kind of edgy. I sell them on my TikTok page at TikTok shop. So if you're interested, I'm going to put a link for it in the description. Anyway, it's something I think about a lot. Medicare kicks in at 65. I've heard many differing stories about Medicare, that it's just crap and you better have some other insurance to go with it. That no, it's great, everything's been great. So I don't know what the truth is, probably something in between. I would like to get some supplemental insurance to go along with it. My wife's several years, she's 9 years younger than me, so she'll probably keep doing some stuff, and but just same kind of thing, side gigs, and trying to build up her Social Security, because she was a stay-at-home mom the whole time our kids were growing up. Her choice, by the way. It's what I was hoping for, but I would never tell my wife what she could or couldn't do. That's her choice. And she really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. but it means she doesn't have enough credits for Social Security. So she needs to get some years in here in the next 7-8 years. Just in case any of you are in that situation, you do have to have a certain number, points, credits, whatever they call it, to qualify for Social Security. So if you were a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad and you took 25 years off of the workforce, double check that you're gonna have enough credits to get anything. I'm not an expert. Do not take my financial advice. This is just my experience. So I am fighting really hard to try to tone myself down in my work, because for almost 40 years now, I have worked in the summer, especially when the days are longer. I'll work 75 to 85 hours a week, 10, 11, 12-hour days, sometimes 13-hour days. I have made it a point to start slowing down more, try to limit it to like 9-hour days, which is still too much. But I got to take baby steps. Today, I planned on another 9-hour day, and by the time I got everything done I needed to do, it was 11 hours, and I felt it when I got back from work. I felt it in my bones. I was exhausted. I'm like, I cannot keep doing this. I am not 40 years old. And if there are any contractors watching this and you're, in your 30s or 40s or even 50s, keep that in mind. Try not to push yourself so hard that you break your body. Because like I was saying earlier, almost every contractor I've ever known, once you get into your 50s, things start hurting. My back, my knees, my hands, carpal tunnel, my shoulders have been hurting for 10, 15 years. It's just something you live with. And I'm not bitching, I'm not moaning. That's a fact. If you do that kind of work, that's just how it's gonna be. And I've kind of learned to live with it, but I don't want to be in extreme pain when I retire. So I am trying to force myself to slow down a little bit and to try to prepare for that physically. Mentally, I'm ready. I'm ready to retire. Financially, we're close. I got to get the house paid off, which isn't too far away. And a couple other things in order. I do not want any debt. That's one thing. If you're going to retire with, a lot of these guys talk about $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And I know some of you are going to say, you can't do that. That's not doable. I disagree. I've run the numbers. But the key is you got to be out of debt. You can't go in with 2 car payments and a mortgage. It's impossible. But we have enough saved up. I've figured how much we could take out every month, put Social Security on top of that, and then a little bit of side hustle here and there. I think we'll be okay. And as soon as the house is paid off, I'm out. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of share my perspective on that. For those of you that are interested, I know my videos are kind of all over the place, but I listen to so much stuff. I have so many interests that when something catches my attention and I feel like I might have something to share, I am by no means an expert. I'm just sharing my opinion. Maybe it helps somebody out there. And just puts a flicker of something in your brain to think, oh, maybe I could do this or that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Those of you that share the videos, man, thank you. So that's so cool. I see the shares just slowly ticking up, and it's really cool. I am trying to keep this a positive, uplifting channel. I almost did a video tonight that would have been pretty heavy and definitely bordering on politics. Not politics per se, but just kind of on the edge of it. And it's something that I think is very important, that I do think we have to discuss. And I won't get into it here, but I am thinking about doing that video. And it's not really along with what I'm talking about here. And I say all the time, I don't talk politics and religion. I'm not going to talk about R's and D's. That's not what I'm going to do. It's more about just our country in general and what I see. I say it all the time. I try to kind of, anyway, not going to get into it here. I will put, a disclaimer or something at the beginning saying this video is a little heavier. This one is not. This is just hopefully a fun video that gives you some ideas for yourself. And if you got some for me, please share them. I love getting info, especially about this kind of stuff. I get stoked about investing, and I've done all my own investing from the get-go, from the first cent I put into my first IRA. I've controlled everywhere it's gone. As I get older, I'm moving more into money markets and bonds and less risky stuff, but I still have a pretty big percentage in stocks, mutual funds. I don't buy a lot of individual stocks. I have bought some, but I try to keep it to like a couple % of my profile. The majority is mutual funds, less upside, less downside. Again, I'm not an expert. Do not take my advice. Go do your own research. Talk to some pros. I've got a friend that watches these videos, and he's a pro, and he throws some advice at me, and it's cool. I feel like I know what I'm doing, but I'm always open to hearing other people's opinions. So I will leave it there. I need to go to bed. It's another long day tomorrow. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Thank you for watching. Ja, it's a good life. Tack för denna gång. Vi snackas igen snart. Peace. Love.